So, why should we be eating more fruit and veggies? Well, there are several reasons that the consumption of fruits and vegetables is super important. Every year there is new evidence that comes out about the benefits of eating fruit and vegetables. So naming all of the reasons could take a long time. So instead, I'll just go over a few of these reasons now. Okay, so starting with vegetables first. Okay, so why are eating veggies so important? Well, science tells us that vegetables contain essential vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, digestive enzymes, microbes, fiber, and other nutrients. Any and all of which reduce acidity in the body and chronic inflammation, adding vital nutrient absorption, stabilizing blood sugar levels, removing toxic waste by keeping our bowel movements regular, decreasing bad and increasing good cholesterol, decreasing blood pressure, feeding your healthy gut microbiome and bacteria. Many of us are suffering from dehydration. And a big reason for this is because we're eating too many processed foods and less veggies, which equates to less water in your diet. Okay, so veggies help to keep you hydrated and functioning at your best. Veggies are also the key to losing weight, which is something that most of us need. And that's because veggies are low in energy and some even contain negative calories. For example, did you know you could eat 40 zucchinis a day and still lose weight? As such, if you're not eating enough veggies, then you're definitely not supporting your weight loss goals. It's no wonder then why every successful diet in the world has one thing in common. They all contain vegetables. And so what about fruit? Why is eating fruit so important? Well, there is a whole heap of scientific evidence which shows that eating lots of fruit helps to control your blood pressure. It lowers your risk of developing most diseases, including heart disease, diabetes, and so many types of cancers. Eating fruit also helps us to retain muscle mass, leading to stronger muscles and bones too. Fruit is also loaded with antioxidants, which slow down the aging process, something we all want. Eating fruit also has beneficial effects on the brain and may help prevent age-related memory loss and other changes. Eating fruit provides us with lots of fiber, which is super important for healthy bowels and good digestion too. And fruit can also aid in weight loss because it helps to control your blood sugar levels, which helps you to eat less junk food throughout the day. And this is important because fruit often gets a bad rap when it comes to losing weight. In fact, so many people, when I began coaching over the years, never touched fruit out of the fear of putting on weight, which is simply not true. Fruit is nutrient dense. It's packed with vitamins and minerals, and some of those nutrients like calcium and potassium are absolutely vital to our very survival, as our heart needs these to keep pumping. You know what? Virtually the entire alphabet of vitamins and minerals can be consumed through eating various fruits. And this is important considering that most of us have at least one vitamin deficiency. In short, eating enough fresh fruit and vegetables allows us to feel and function our best and live healthier and happier lives. However, despite the importance of eating fruit and vegetables, a staggering 93% of Australians are not reaching their recommended daily intake. 93%. That's virtually the whole of Australia, and it's a very similar story in countries such as the UK and USA. Some reasons for this is because most of us live very busy lives, and as such, we often reach for foods which are quick to prepare, including processed foods or pre-prepared meals and meats. Whatever the reason, it is a real concern, and we should all be trying harder to eat more fresh fruit and vegetables. Now that you know why eating fruit and vegetables is so important, I'll share with you some of the ways in which you can begin incorporating more of them into your diet. So beginning with fruit, some of the best ways to eat more fruit include starting the day off with fruit. And it's a great way to start the day off right. Start it with fruit. Get your fruit intake early. Whether it's fruit to sweeten your oats, okay, which is what I have 3 mornings per week. I'll have fruit, I make oats, I put fruit in it and a drizzle of maple syrup. You can put it into freshly made smoothies. I have a Ninja and I love this for making smoothies. You can add it to yogurt and muesli or chopped up onto your pancakes. Fruit goes well with any breakfast meal. Also have fruit for your snacks, whether it's morning, afternoon, or an evening snack. Fruit is always a healthy and delicious choice and can be served in so many different ways. Keeping fruit on hand, So just take a fruit in your lunchbox, an apple, banana, keep it on your desk or on the kitchen bench. You're more likely to eat fruit if it's chopped up, ready to go, or just there in front of you. So also freeze fruits that are in season. This is something that I do all of the time. I grow so much of my own fruit and veggies, and I just buy extra when I need it. And then, I freeze it to use throughout the year. And here are some of my own blackberries, which I've frozen and I use for smoothies, and bananas as well, which I'm big on using for smoothies. Anyway, look, there are many ways that you can eat frozen fruit. You can make smoothie bowls, you can make fruit compote, you can make, put it on yogurt and pancakes, you can infuse it into water, you can make sorbets, combinations, which my kids absolutely love. Also eat dried fruits. Dried fruits are delicious and an excellent substitute for fresh fruits in situations where it's not very practical to eat fresh fruit. And also just for the variety as well. I've got some here, okay? The choice is endless. You can also prepare small little containers. This is what I do for my kids. I put almonds and sultanas and they take it to school. And I snack on it too, but it's great because you can just have it on hand. Also canned fruit, okay? So canned fruit, this is some combination of my own apricots that I've preserved as well as some bought ones. But just a quick and easy way to incorporate, more servings of fruit into your diet. I sometimes add it to salads, add it to baked goods, dessert recipes, or even freeze it, and serve it as a fresh, as a treat on its own. Okay, that's another way to do it. Okay, so moving on to eating more vegetables now. What are some of the best ways we can increase our consumption of veggies? Well, you could add lots of veggies to pasta dishes. Instead of serving just pasta, serve an equal portion of veggies with the pasta, okay? I like to pour my sauce on top of my veggies, which my brother absolutely thinks is a no-go. But anyway, almost every pasta bowl that I eat, I love to mix it in all with things like salad and mixed veggies. You can also add veggies into your pasta sauce. Okay, so like a few cups of zucchini or carrots doesn't really change the flavor of most dishes. And we do this all the time as a way of getting more veggies into our kids. But you can do that to anything. Also, try to make pasta out of veggies like zucchini. So it's become really popular these days, zucchini, spiralized zucchini, which you can use instead of pasta, or cauliflower as well, which you can make pizza bases with, for pasta or anything you want. Also, roast off assorted veggies with your favorite spices, like, rosemary, oregano, thyme, whatever it is, anything else. I grow and make most of my own spices, which is much nicer, but even the shop bought ones will add, an amazing flavor. Okay, so use spices. Also make frittatas, omelets. You can use pre-cooked leftover roasted veggies. It's what we do. We make a roast, then we use those leftover veggies. We also make pasties, pies, sausage rolls, again from the leftover roast that we make, the roasted veggies. Also add loads of veggies to your favorite stir-fry recipes. Also char grill, things like eggplants and capsicums. It's something that we do all the time. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of olive oil, and it's delicious on fresh sourdough bread, except that kind of thing. Again, this is some of my own homegrown veggies. You can use any veggies. Stir-fry veggies. So we like to have bok choy with a bit of oyster sauce and garlic. We like to steam veggies. So steaming veggies is just a simple and healthy way to increase consumption. Also make different casseroles or stews and load them with veggies, and put them in a slow cooker. I absolutely love my slow cooker. It's such a relaxed, laid back way of cooking. So utilize a slow cooker. Also make smoothies packed with veggies and disguise the flavor with fruit. If you don't like the taste of just veggies, it's a great idea. So as a rule though, as a ratio, use 3 to 4 veggies to every 1 serving of fruit to avoid too much sugar, especially if you're watching your weight. Also, you can juice vegetables whole to maximize, the fiber and roughage content if you're making smoothies. Once again, spinach is a great vegetable to add to smoothies, or silver beet. I probably use silver beet more than spinach because I grow it in my garden. And it doesn't really change the flavor too much. But it's a way of getting that extra nutrients, especially in for the kids and for yourself too, without changing the flavor too much. You can also use supplements and powders like spirulina and wheatgrass and vital greens, etc., which can be added to your smoothies or your meals to boost the nutrient content. And these are also great alternatives when you don't have access to veggies or you're traveling, etc. Okay, next one is to cut veggie sticks like cucumber and celery and carrots and zucchini. Once again, I like to use the cucumbers because we grow them in the garden, but whatever you want, and add them to your favorite dip, hummus, tzatziki, anything. Also make soups, okay? This is literally an example of a soup that I've made last week. You can make so many different delicious vegetable soups. I like to freeze them and meal prep them. Also make salads, especially in the warmer months. The key here is to get creative. Instead of just boring old iceberg lettuce, make lots of different kinds of salads. The other way is to use ferment and pickle veggies. These are some chilies that I've done, also do zucchini ones, but you can buy them as well. I love them, they're absolutely delicious, but great for your gut health too. So that's another way to get your veggies. So, as you can see, these are just a few of the ways in which you can increase, your fruit and your veggie intake. So, on average, how many servings of vegetables would you eat each day? Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to learn more about the other essential attributes of staying in your best shape. And until next time, watch what you chew, do what you need to do, and always live true.